One thing I think we can say with certainty about the federal Liberal government is it's been really, really good at making government bigger and more expensive, but it's been a total failure at making government better. In just the last week, we discovered that executive pay in the federal government has doubled. Indigenous spending has tripled under the Liberals. And spending on health care for asylum seekers or refugees has gone up nearly 6 times. They are really, really good at spending money, but they're not very good at producing results. Let's take a look at the executive pay as the first example. So when they came to power in 2015, there were a lot of executives. There's far too many bureaucrats at senior levels in the federal government. Even then, even after the Harper government had gotten through with the federal government, there were still way too many managers and executives. But under the Liberals, the number of executives has doubled. The payroll that goes towards federal executives has risen by 97% in the last 9 years. You wonder why nothing gets done in the federal government. The Parliamentary Budget Officer estimated that most departments and agencies now have 7 layers of management. 7. So if you have an idea, it has to go up the chain and up the chain, and it gets back sent down for more suggestions, and up the chain, and then it gets shuffled around. No wonder nothing ever happens. They're pinballing ideas and decisions around so much on these 7 layers of management, because the Liberals have been on an executive spending binge. That's one of the big reasons nothing gets done, is that they have doubled the amount of executives they have and doubled the payroll for executives. On the asylum seeker health care, it started out at $60 million for people who come to Canada in 2015 seeking refugee status. We spent about $60 million providing them with health care while we could determine whether they were legitimate refugees or not. This year, that cost will be closer to $500 million. And there's 2 reasons for that. First of all, the Liberals allowed in a lot more people to make asylum claims. Just hundreds of thousands of people who are now awaiting adjudication. They're waiting for a decision on whether or not they qualify as refugees. While they wait, the federal government pays their health care. Once they have been determined to be refugees, they move over to their provincial health care plans. But in the interim, the feds pay for them. And so the feds have increased the number dramatically under the Liberals. That's one of the reasons that the price tag has gone up so much. The other reason is that they get benefits that ordinary Canadians do not. Not only do they get hospital visits, they get free ambulance service. They get eyeglasses and dental care. They get counseling. They get long-term senior care if they need it. They get home care, which an awful lot of ordinary Canadians do not. And that's why that price has gone way up. And Indigenous spending, that's another example. When the Liberals came to power in 2015, the federal government was spending about $11 billion on Canada's 1.2 million Indigenous citizens. Now it is spending $32 billion. Almost exactly triple. And what has happened to living standards on reserves? The quality of living on reserves, as measured by a very standard metric, has gone up from a score of 58 to a score of 62. It's moved up 4 percentage points with $32 billion in spending. The Liberal government just thinks if you throw money at something, that will make it better. That will fix it. There's your cure. And as we're seeing over and over and over again, all that does is make government bigger. It doesn't make it better. For Post Media, I'm Lorne Gunter.